Within just 13 months, two South Asian governments collapsed under the weight of young-led revolts. First, Bangladesh, where student demonstrations forced Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to end her 15-year rule and flee the country. Then, September 2025, where Nepal witnessed an astonishing political overthrow. Gen Z-led movement led the overthrow of the Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. And then India, where student protests over paper leaks have resulted in the replacement of Education Minister. Looking at these events back-to-back strike questions. Is this a foreign-engineered political cascade, a failure of domestic governance, or just a coincidence? Okay, so to understand these things, we first have to look at the bigger picture. In Bangladesh, it was the judicial ruling of 30% of civil job service quota reserved for the descendants of 1970 war veterans. But for the university graduate students who were facing unemployment, didn't thought this was a good idea. And when state responded with brutal force and internet blackouts, a protest is what brought the government down. In Nepal, the fire was lit when the government abruptly banned 26 major social media platforms including Facebook, Instagram and X. And the ban was seen as the attempt to silence the anti-corruption dissent. And within days, people marched in front of the parliament, resulting in the collapse of the government and the installation of a new interim government. Meanwhile, in India, people gathered because of the recurring paper leak. But does it still explain why these all things happen? No, because you see, there are three core drivers that mainly influence the rapid scale-up of these movements across South Asia. Because South Asia has significantly expanded the higher education in the last 2 decades, where young adults enter the job market with high qualifications and yet still face a wall of economic stagnation and political patronage. And in that case, public sector jobs and competitive exams are the only visible paths closest to the jackpot for middle-class families. And when this thing is spoiled by corruption, quotas, or paper leaks, the youth dissatisfaction turns into a total rejection. Second, digital acceleration. In the modern era, digital apps, encrypted channels, and VPNs is what catches the eyes of the youth. But when these things are taken away from them, it feels like an internet blackout, and it almost always backfires. Because shutting down communication systems like these disrupts daily commerce and the broader middle class. And lastly, disproportionate state repression. In both Dhaka and Kathmandu, the state apparatuses used lethal force too early in the stage. And once casualties mount and minor policy concessions from government no longer works, the demand changes to total regime change. High GDP growth numbers on paper mean very little if educated youth population is locked out of economic opportunities and civic expression. And at last, I would say, political stability cannot be maintained by internet blackouts or police force. The only true defense is a responsive meritocratic government, institutional integrity, and economic clear pathways for the youth generation that hold a stake in the country's future. If you like my content, join me. Till then, goodbye and good luck.